All right, you're on.
Hi everyone, Sarah here from the Paper Cut, joining you at One of a Kind. Brian, I know, had a few little technical issues this morning, so he was showing you my last month craft along, or actually was it last month? It's March. I can't remember. Anyways, I think that was our January craft along, or maybe it was our February. I don't know. But anyways, we today are doing our ocean craft along. So we're doing this cascading card. Okay. We're doing this cascading card. And then we're also doing a mini slimline card. Now we have 45 minutes. So usually I just get through one card, so we actually might make it through both. Now my mom is watching from behind the scenes. Say hi, Mom.
Hi, hi everyone.
So I'm going to make sure I can hear myself. Oh, yep, I can. Okay. So anyways, and we can see some of the questions, like on the group we can see the questions, but we can see the YouTube, but we can't like type them in. So anyways, she'll monitor questions, and if you have a question about process, let me know, and then she'll break in every once in a while if you have questions about products. So I do have today a 15% off dyes coupon code. So it's dyes only. The code is dyes, DIES 15 for 15% off dyes. And then also our cascading card. And I did that because we have a new die. We have this triple oval mini slimline die that we're going to use on our second card, but we also have our cascading die, and they're kind of expensive dies, so I'm giving you a little bit off on that. But also on our sale page, our cascading card kits, which is the card base and the envelopes, those are already discounted. You just have to click on the box that says cascading cards. So a couple specials that you can take care of or take advantage of. Also, our next craft along, Brian, this is for you. This is our April one. So we have this card with a little pop-up on the inside. So the giraffe, people like the giraffe. And then we also are doing a slider card with the giraffe. So where he slides up and down. So that's our April one. That's on our class page. So let's go down to the table so we can get started. Okay, so we're down here. So if you have this kit, pull that out, and we're going to start with the cascading card. And I do still have kits available. So while you are ordering the giraffe one, if you didn't order this one, you can still get it. So, and then you can replay the tape.
What die is used in the pop-up card, Sarah?
The pop-up card. Oh, this one. It's called a simple pop-out. It gives you 3 sizes of these little pop-outs. And I also did a gift stack with it during our birthday bash. Oh, and speaking of, I know I'm going like a million miles a minute today.
And what does the giraffe card say?
It says, celebrate the simple pleasures in life, and then sending happy thoughts. And then this is our slider card, and that's die 028 as the slider. So we use 2 different card making dies on this craft along. It says, hold your head high, and then you are beautiful inside and out. So anyways, I am delayed on my recap video from February, so I'm working on that. But let's get started and I'll talk about my recap video a little bit later. So, and while we're brush blending and stuff. So we have our little bag of die cuts, set that aside. We have some Post-it notes that you're going to need. So set those kind of off to the side. You have 2 of our cascading, and there is not a die to cut the card base because the card base is 12 3/4 inches long. And you need 2 of them because see how one side has the slit at the bottom and the other side has the slit at the top. So you would need 2 dies that are 12 3/4 inches long. And that would just be astronomical for price. So it's much easier to just buy the kit, or if you are a die-hard want to cut it yourself, buy 1 kit, and then you can, use it as a template and cut it yourself. But I think it's easier just buying the kit because then you can get right to creating. And then the other pieces that we have are the layers. And that we do have the die for. Now the die does make just this tallest layer, and I pre-cut your smallest layer for you. But how you normally do that, and it does have two of them in here. So it has two sizes. This is the bigger size, but if you want a double layer, there is a smaller size. But to make the smaller height-wise, you would line it up, kind of turn it over, make a pencil mark, and then just chop the bottom off. So I already pre-did that for you with your smallest layer. So you should have two of the biggest layer, two of the smallest layer, and then you have some waves. And these are kind of still stuck together, so you do just trim those apart. This is a new wave die set, and this is this long because you can use it for slimline cards. You can use it for A2 cards, which we're going to be doing A2 size, but it's long enough that you can have continuous waves for slimlines. So you are just going to pop those out of there, and I gave you all 4 waves. On my sample, I only really used 1, but you can do whatever you want. So you have 4 different waves, and we're kind of using them as a stencil. So you're not actually, and you can actually put them on your card if you want to, or you can use them for a different card. And this one, you can actually use your waves going this way, or you can use your waves going this way. Likewise, with this pattern, you can use it either way. So set those kind of off, or I'm going to set mine off to the side so I can just show you the cascading card for a bit. And I'm going to pull out my white demo ones just so we can chat for a minute. So the cascading card, remember how I said that, and these might actually I'm going to do this. I'm going to do up and down. I normally set them up in front of me like this, but I don't know if you can see the whole thing in the camera view. Actually, you can see almost the whole thing, so I'm going to leave it. But my scores are my dashed lines, and then my solid ones are my slits. And see how you have a bottom slit and a top slit, and then in the middle you have a bottom and top, and then on the ends you have a bottom and top. So we'll go through how to put these together later, but this is how I normally set it up. And when you set it up this way, you can see that, and this is white on white, but you can see that you have to have an angle going one way, and then you have to have an angle going the other way. Hang on a second. So you have to have an angle going one way and then an angle going the other. So if you're cutting pattern paper, like if you're using white cardstock, it doesn't matter. But if you're cutting pattern paper, you just need to be aware that you need to have angles going both directions. Okay? And we are going to be brush blending on these. So when we set them up, we are going to make sure to set them up so we do it correctly. So we do an angle going one direction, an angle going the other, and then for our bottom 2 layers, the angle's going the same direction. So when we're doing our brush blending, make sure, if you do them all the same direction like this, you'll be turning them over and doing them again. So just make sure when you're setting them up for brush blending that you do them this way. Now, we're going to go on to brush blending, and we're also going to brush blend on our card, but we'll get to that in a minute. I do want to show you with this one, our sample, see how we have all light blue back here, all dark blue in the middle, and all, the light blue in the front. That's when I set them up where I do them on both card sides. Okay, this is like side 1 and side 2. Or vice versa.
Sarah, are you going to show those sale dies again at the end of your demo?
Yes, I'll show the dies as we're going. But like this one, where I have, one side is white, one side is black. See how it kind of zigzags through there? So there isn't a right or wrong. You can do it where you get your light, dark, light, or we have some of them that are 2 different tones, and then your color kind of zigzags through the card. So it just depends on, whether you're using all one color on one side and one color on the other, or whether you're setting it up the way we're setting it up. So we're going to get to brush blending. Set them up like this. in front of you, and you maybe just want one in front of you while you're brush blending. So maybe you set the other ones off to the side. And I'm going to take a wave die. Now it doesn't matter which one you use, or you can use a combination of the two. I did like do some ahead of time just to show you, you know, one wave die looks like that, and you can go backwards and you can go forwards, or, you know, I set them up on the other side. So it's up to you which wave die you want to set up with, or multiple. You can use multiple waves. So I'm gonna just do this one, and I like to tape it down on the sides because then it kind of stays in place. And then I'm just gonna move this piece up and down. Okay, so for brush blending, there's a lot of stuff. So right now we're only working on these pieces. And so I'm just gonna get all the rest of my pieces out of the way. We're gonna work on our brush blending. Now you can use multiple colors of ink pads, or you can use just one ink pad. And I didn't test this one this morning, but I just also want to show you something that happened to me this morning with these blending brushes, which I don't like because they're this gold. If you don't hold on to this top, sometimes you'll snap them off. And I always tell people, if you're working with these, hold on to the top. Well, this morning, because they're not as flexible as your ones that are just your plastic, the ones that are like these metallic can snap. So this morning I did what I said not to do, and I was just holding it down here like this, and yep, it snapped. So just beware if you're using the ones that have the gold versus the ones that are a little bit more flexible, because if you do this with this one, you could snap it off.
Scared me.
So anyway, oh crudness. Okay, that one I just inked up. And now I'm going to test my color. Anyways, yes, I just crudded up my... So I am starting off the bottom and just doing a little bit of color on the bottom. I think that color is the wrong color. I'm just doing a little bit of color off the bottom, and then I'm just going to slide it on and just keep working my way up and re-inking my blending brush periodically. This one I just re-inked, so it might be kind of dark. Ooh, it is dark. Okay, so I'm just moving my... I have inky fingers this morning. I'm just having issues. So now when you move it down, kind of move it over a little bit too. And just keep... Yeah, I am a hot mess this morning. And you can look at every once in a while, and you can make them further apart. Or you can set up two of your waves and do it multiple different wave patterns. And since you're going down and can't see it, you know, maybe you pull it and look at it every once in a while to make sure it's, you know, you're doing what you want to do. And if you get big smooches like that, you know, don't actually worry because of the back pattern. The back, you don't see a whole ton of it. See, the back one is hidden behind there. So I did the whole thing, but you're not even seeing all of it.
Who's not a hot mess? Yeah, right.
I feel like I'm a hot mess this morning.
She's got a lot on her mind, folks.
I've got... My fingers are blue. You know, I said that we would get through this one and the other one, but who knows? We'll see. We'll try to get through both. And who cares if I got a spot in my ocean, right? Okay. And yeah, the first color of blue that I did wasn't right, so I'm just gonna... There you go. So keep going and do all of your patterns, or all of your angled pieces with your waves. And if you want to use different waves, use different waves. That is totally up to you. For me getting through this, I am going to use just one wave, but that's totally up to you, especially if a lot of people will do the replay, so they'll watch it the first time and then they'll do the replay and they can take their time a little bit more. So this one, we're making a nice oceany color too, and we can use what we used as a stencil on another card, which is kind of fun. I do this a lot with die cuts because I don't have stencils. So I tend to use my die cuts as my stencil. So these little pieces are actually going to be on the front. So try not to smooch those up. And if you have white there and you want to get rid of it, just kind of go over it a little bit. So we've got 2 of them going one direction. Now we're going to do 2 of them going the other direction. So just keep working along with me. Anyways, what I was saying earlier was that if you are not on my email list, and I'm going to talk now while I'm brush blending just because I'm brush blending, and you should be brush blending too. I started doing a recap video. Excuse me, now I got a frog in my throat. I started
It's not one thing, it's another today. So.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
I started doing a recap video in January. I'm supposed to put it out shortly after the first of the month. Well, in February, I was really good. I got it out really quick after the first of the month. February was a super busy month with our craft along, our class. We had our birthday bash. We had our comment sale.
Watch those shirt cuffs unless this could be a new way to tie-dye.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I probably do need to watch that. And then we were trying to get all of your orders out in a very timely manner. So I am behind on getting my recap video done. I told my mom that we are staying today until I get my recap video done and emailed out to you. So if you are not on my email list, go ahead to our home page, and up in the upper right hand corner, there's a link and it says sign up for email. And then watch for an email from me later on today because it will be a recap of everything we did in January or February. I'm screwed up on dates too, Brian. So it'll be a recap of everything we did with links to all the products. So if you saw something and you were like, oh, I really wanted that, but I didn't get it, at the time and now I can't remember, there will be links to all of the products. So you can see everything that we did. Now this email is going to be a little bit longer because like I said, we did a lot of stuff in February. But then future months I'll try and get them out shortly after the first of the month. Like I said.
No promises, of course.
Yeah, no promises. But yeah, I am a little delayed this time, so I do apologize. Working on that until it's emailed out to you today. So, yeah, on the home page, upper right-hand corner, sign up for email list. Or if you're getting emails and you don't want them, you can take yourself off. So yeah, it's kind of fun. And we had a good response on our recap email. Okay, so there we go. We've got all of our wave patterns done. Now we have to do one more set of wave patterns, and this time it is on the card, because on the actual card, see how it's darker on these middle panels? So this one we can't leave taped down because it's going to be on the actual card. Well, you could, but just be careful that it doesn't stick. So when you're setting up these cards, like we did these two, we're going to turn it over to do the middle one. So when I attached them, like we did, don't do this yet, I'm just showing you. We did these two, and then on the opposite side, on my little demo one, I had the red one set up. So now you're going to see the red, or you're not going to see the red, you're going to see the darker blue. So we are going to take our actual blue cards, how we had them originally set up in the middle, and then we are going to flip them over, and we're going to brush blend just on the middle panel. So that's why I gave you Post-it notes. Okay, so I gave you Post-it notes so you could kind of mask off that middle panel, just in case you don't want to get any on the other end two panels. That's why I gave you the Post-it notes. And then we're going to take our wave, and again, we're just going to do the exact same thing on this middle panel. And I'm going to start off the bottom. And now if you want to use a darker ink pad, you can. Or you can just add a little bit more color. Now I am going to hold this down. And now I'm going to actually move my stencil. Or my die cut. And technically, you just need to do this top portion because that's all you really see. But I'll just go ahead while you guys are working and I'll quickly do my whole thing. But technically, you only need to do the top portion because that's all you really see is that top. And yeah, like I said, if you want to use a different wave, you can. Like we could turn it over and we could do this wave. Or actually, let me pull one of my other waves out. Here we go. Yeah, I'll just mix it up a little bit. I'll throw this wave in there. But yeah, you only really see this top section of this one. And like I could add these waves in between the waves that I already did. But again, you're not even going to see at the bottom. But I'm just going to show you what it could look like if you used like multiple waves in there.
Yeah, it's amazing. You are just using one color, but it looks like multiple.
Yeah, because I just am doing them at different. So now I have one side done. And my angle is going one direction. So my other card, I want the angle to be going in the other direction. So we'll set this one up. And yeah, we may use two waves. Again, you can just do the top like inch or two, doesn't matter. Since I'm talking and doing it quickly and you might be working slower than me, I'm going to just do my whole thing just so you can get done. Or maybe you already are done. If you already are done and you want to pull the overlay out of the next card, this one, you can do that one. Do it up and down. That's up to you if you're ahead of me, which you could be. And maybe now I turn my waves the other direction.
What brand of ink do you use, Sarah?
Oh, this is an Impression Obsession ink. So I do use a lot of Impression Obsession inks with my little cubes. Those are my rubbernecker inks. I have all kinds of old inks, which you may see me use sometimes. The other day I pulled out the seashell inks, which are super old for my demo. And maybe I want to do both directions on here. So yeah, with the waves, I love using them as a little stencil. And yeah, I did not say that this one was a clean and simple, because look at my fingers. All right. Again, I'm not going to see the bottom, but I'm just finishing it off. So I'm going to use these for other projects. Those will be fun. You don't need your Post-its anymore, so you can get rid of those. You may or may not need your waves, because we're going to do those on our other project. So we're going to turn them back over so we don't see any ink, because now we're going to start attaching. So turn them back over. So we have our inked on one side and our solid on the other. We're going to go ahead and attach our layers now. So you're going to go ahead and attach your layers.
What colors are you using, Sarah?
for the inks.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, this is terrestrial teal of the Cascading Card. And it's a terrestrial teal. It is on the sale page, but there is not a picture of it. There's a picture of like these other combinations. This one just has wording, so it just says terrestrial teal. It's the very last one on the page, and it just has words that you have to click on to add it to your basket. And then the ink that I used was actually the Impression Obsession teal. Very easy to remember. I did pull out some other ones. I did pull out Ocean and Peacock, but I didn't like them as much. And sometimes when I make it a month ahead, I can't remember exactly what I did. So we are going to attach our 4 diagonal layers. So go ahead and attach your 4 diagonal layers. Set it up so your points are in the middle. See how I have my points in the middle here? And my inking on the middle panel is on the opposite side. So go ahead and attach these. What time are we at, Mom?
Oh, we're at 9:43, almost.
Almost a half an hour. Ooh, so yeah, I may have lied. We may not totally get to our other card. I will talk about it though. Maybe I talked a little bit too much, or it added time with the brush blending. Usually I'll have printed layers if I'm doing this in a half an hour craft along. It'll be totally printed, so we're not doing like the inking. So yes, the inking may have added our extra time, along with me yapping a little bit. Okay, so we put those on there. And now we have, oops, that was pretty crooked. Oh, crudness. Oh, well, it's staying on there crooked, right? So right now we have our layers. Now, our slits are on there, and the slits kind of go right up the middle. But we've covered our slit up. So we do need to cut those slits. So I'm just putting this here so you can see where I'm cutting. You don't have to do this unless you actually want to. But you're just going to take a scissors and you're going to follow that slit, because this side is not slit, this side is slit. And we're going to cut it to the end of the slit. That's to the end, but we're going to cut it about 1/4 inch farther. With the extra layer, you need to add a little bit extra space there. So do that only on your biggest panel and your little panel. And we're only doing that because we attached a piece of paper to the other side that wasn't slit. And we're cutting about 1/4 inch past the original slit. So now you can see all 3 are slit. Where before we did that, there's no slit there because we covered it up. So we're cutting our slits, and we're cutting about 1/4 inch past.
Your yapping is always very instructional and appreciated.
I do yap a lot.
Thank you.
So now I'm going to show you this. Now we need to feed these onto each other, okay? But this right point, and it doesn't matter if we're top or bottom, but the side that's on the right, the point needs to be behind. And you do that because then when you go and you fold it in, you're not folding anything. So let me show you if you do it the other way. If we take the side that's on the right and we put the point in the front, so don't do this. Then when I go to fold this, I'm folding it over because that paper's in the front. I don't want that. I don't want to fold it over that paper. So set them up again in front of you. The side that's on the right, the point is in the back. See how that's in the back? Because then you're not folding over any layers. But we are going to fold in, and we're going to take this other side and fold it in. So now we need to feed these two together. So we're going to take our middle panels and feed them together. And then we're folding our last two in, and then feeding them together. So I'll pull mine apart and I'll do it again, because you're probably still working with me. So that's how we got the light, the dark, and the light. Like I said before, if you have the ones that are opposite colors, then you will end up with more of a zigzag pattern. There's no right and wrong way, it's just whatever you want to do. So technically on, oops, I'm taking mine apart. You keep yours together if you're there. Technically, if we would have just left this one totally solid, and if we wanted that zigzag pattern, we could have put a pattern one here, a pattern one here, and a pattern one here, and then you would get more of this look. So let's go back to putting it together. So the one that's on the right is gonna slide down, but the point is to the back. So we slide it down, and that way there's nothing that we're not folding over, you know, a piece of paper. We are, because that's already layered on there, but it's not like a loose piece. So then we fold those two both in, and we feed them together. And then we fold these both in and feed them together. And then you just kind of push it down, make sure it's all lined up at the bottom. So that's basically the bones of our cascading card.
Okay, now you have 10 minutes.
Okay, so I'm gonna just go through attaching the front pieces, and then I'm gonna go on to the other card, because you can attach your fish later. So your pieces, you can attach them however you want. I like to put it together so you can kind of see how you're attaching them. And you can attach them wherever you want. So you can, you know, attach them to the back panel, or you can attach them to the front panels. If you want to stick them up higher than the top here, you can use some acetate and actually have them floating. So you could take a piece of acetate and stick them to that and actually have them floating up higher. So don't go too high, because you want to make sure that there's room for your envelope. So we put a bigger envelope in there so you do have a little bit of space, but don't go up really high. Okay, I'm just going to go through attaching the front, because I like to, first I'm going to cut my rickrack to the width of my card. And I like to just use foam tape on the end. If you attach this solid, as you pull this, see how it kind of pulls in? If you just use foam tape on the ends, then it'll kind of stay straight when you open the card up. I'm just putting foam tape on the very ends. Maybe mine just went in a little bit further than I like it to. But I'm just putting foam tape on the ends and attaching that. Because if this is totally attached, when it opens up, it kind of bends in, where we want it to kind of stay out. And then these pieces, when you're attaching them, you want to only put adhesive where they're actually going to attach. So if you put adhesive on the whole back of this, it will bend in. So you want to just put adhesive where it's going to attach, like to the rickrack, because then that will be able to, you know, be out a little bit when it opens up. It won't bend in. And then I did use foam tape on this bugger. And then your fish and your other words, you can attach totally how you feel. And usually, like I said, I do kind of set it up like this because I want to see everything before I actually attach it. On the pictures, it actually shows, where they're attached while they're flat, because I just took mine apart and took a picture of it. But I like to wait till it's like this and attach the rest of my pieces. So I'm going to put all of these aside, and I'm going to go on and talk about my Mini Slimline card really quick. So with this, this green piece layers on there. And then this one I do have, well, let's talk, hang on one second before we do that. I did use 2 different dies on here. So I used the stitched dot and border die, and then I used this one. Well, they happen to be the same size. So if like on my sample, if you want to see both colors, hang on a second, oh, here it is. If you want to see a white border, you are going to cut off this stitching because they're the same size. Or you can do your blue on there and just attach it right onto the green. So you either have an extra layer that maybe you don't use, or if you want to see this white border, you're going to cut off the stitching of this front one. So that's just up to you whether you want to, you know, have your card, a green layer, a white layer, and then our ocean layer, which you're going to use the stencils and make that blue again.
Trinket Troy wants to see the finished card again. I don't know which finished card.
Okay, there's that finished card. Hang on. I'll put the other one off to the side also. There you go.
All right.
So while I'm talking, I think that's in the screen.
Yes.
Okay. So, like I said, you are going to brush blend on here with our ocean. And for attaching these pieces, I am just going to attach my 3 layers, and then I'm going to trim off my stitches on this one so I can double layer it. So let's go ahead and attach those. Where are we at, Mom, for time?
6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. I felt like I had like 2 seconds left, so I was like talking super fast trying to get through. But I have 6 minutes, so that gives me a little bit more time. So I'm going to layer my green on there.
You're yapping fast now.
And then I'm going to layer my white. I'll slow down a little.
Question, is the giraffe for next month's kit a stamp?
The giraffe for next month's kit is a stamp. It is from Impression Obsession. It will come in your kit pre-stamped and pre-colored. Earlier in the morning, somebody asked about the dies and the specials. So all the dies that I'm using today, I used the stitched and dotted mini slimline. I used the slimline triple oval. I used the Cascading Card one, and I also used the wave die. Now, if you want to pre-plan for next time, on this one, I used the slider die, which is die 028, and I used the simple pop-out to make this little guy, and that's die 048. So if you want to save 15% on any dies today, make sure to enter dies 15 at checkout.
Enter dies.
Dies 15.
Is it plural dies?
Yep, DIES. And since we have a little time, I'm just going to go ahead and brush blend my thing and finish putting it together. I thought we had less time left than we do. And maybe you guys already brush blended.
Will that 15% discount be just on the dies?
It's just on the dies, yes. But the Cascading Cards are on special on the sale page. Yep, the special is only on the dies. We had our birthday bash last 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and we got most of the orders out. There's like 3 orders sitting waiting. A couple are waiting for Berrylicious envelopes, and one was waiting for, somebody wanted to add on the giraffes, and so she said hold it. So we're waiting for a couple. But they'll all go out on Monday because our Berrylicious envelopes are coming in. With this mini slimline, I gave you a colored envelope. So I didn't know if a lot of you knew that we had blue raspberry envelopes in the mini slimline. So we do have some colored envelopes in the mini slimline. So that's why I gave you the colored mini slimline envelopes. Because I thought, well, maybe you don't even know that we have them. We have a nice festive variety in the mini slimline. Cards and envelopes. And the blue raspberry is part of that. So yeah, I put some wave backgrounds on there. And if we attached it, if we attached it right now, see they're the exact size. So you would see the blue, the green, and then our blue. If you want to see the extra border, then you are going to just trim a little bit off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
Oh, that's nice. Awesome cards. They are relaxing 2 waves. They are relaxing 2 waves in blue. Yes. Looks like those waves we saw on the Australian site this morning.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah, that was perfect for what we were doing today.
Yeah.
In hindsight, maybe I should have made this one a little bit smaller so it could layer on there. But
2
now,
minutes.
for our words, you're going to want to make sure that they're kind of placed correctly. So what you could do is you could take and put foam tape on the back of your overlay. So you can, because if you do it exactly in the middle, I don't know if it's gonna, it should be pretty darn close. But if you go ahead and put foam tape or adhesive, if you don't want to do foam tape, on your overlay, then you can kind of pick up. And by saying pick up, hang on one second, I'm going to show you.
1 minute.
Oh, I know, 1 minute left, I'm getting off. This is the last thing I'm going to do.
It's 5 degrees here. 5 degrees. Last year, on this day, it was gorgeous.
Okay, so what I meant by pick up is see how your words, and you can take them and make sure they're lined up in there and pick it up, and then you can take that piece and attach it to the front of your card, because then you can make sure everything's lined up the way you want it.
Are
Then
the fish for this kit from Rubbernecker?
The fish are from Rubbernecker. So there's the fish set. And you basically have one of everything in that set on these cards. So, thank you for joining me today.
Whew.
Oh, we forgot to put this one. Make sure you put this one back there too. Sorry, I forgot to do that. So if you were working with me, make sure that you slip this piece in there because it layers behind that oval. Sorry, I missed the one part. But anyways, thank you for joining me for our ocean craft along. And we will see you next month for the giraffe craft along. Bye guys, have a great day.